This is the Thursday edition of the News Roundup, brought to you by EONI and Ronde Hospital.
Hey, Eastern Oregon. I'm Bree Troutman.
And I'm Alex McCadden. Welcome to the News Roundup.
Over 200 people showed up at the Blue Mountain Conference Center last Thursday night for a public hearing on the proposed Boardman to Hemingway, or B2H transmission line. Oregon's Energy Facility Siting Council, a body of the State Department of Energy, is ultimately in charge of approving the transmission line application submitted by Idaho Power. The conference center was filled with Union County residents who were passionate about their cause. Other than Idaho Power employees, only one person spoke in favor of this B2H power line. The opposition was varied and well prepared.
My name is Sandy Ryman, spelled R-Y-M-A-N. I'm a lifelong resident of Eastern Oregon, and I have an undergraduate degree in community health and an MBA, so you can tell this is not my area of expertise. But what I currently do in my work is I look at needs and needs assessments. So I decided to focus on Exhibit N, the needs portion of the application for a site certificate.
Thank you for allowing us to speak to you this evening. I'm Joanne Marlette, and you'll probably hear pretty much what I said last night.
I'm Virginia Mammon. I have lived on Balsa, off Model Air Hawthorne Loop, for 50 years. And I love and appreciate the area in which I live. Through those years, I have learned to appreciate the area in which I live.
My name is David Moyal. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the members of the council. I object to the proposed routing of the B2H transmission line through Union County.
I'm a retired professor. I taught research writing and critical thinking for 25 years. And I have carefully read several relevant sections of Idaho Power's application. It's a substandard piece of work. It's replete with obvious inaccuracies and unsupported conclusions. And here is a clear example of a factual inaccuracy. Morgan Lake Park is described as 204 acres containing one lake, which is developed with primitive campsites and a fishing dock. Morgan Lake Park actually contains two lakes. Morgan Lake covers 70 acres. The other, Twin Lake, is in plain sight within 300 feet of Morgan Lake. It covers 27 acres. In their application, Idaho Power conveniently omits any references to Twin Lakes. A specific example of unsupported conclusions, Idaho Power simply concludes that the inescapable sight of 500 kilovolt transmission lines and towers around a natural lake setting will have, quote, no significant impact on Morgan Lake Park. In research writing, this qualifies as wishful thinking.
If you could imagine for a second, 8th grade me getting dropped off or near Table Mountain and walking the Oregon Trail from Table Mountain to Hillgard State Park. Popular kid, I guess, too good for walking the Oregon Trail. I didn't listen, didn't pay much attention. You fast forward, unbeknownst to me, I married the gal that is the granddaughter of the person that owns the trail I walked, or the property in which the Oregon Trail sits. So as a person who helps out caretake for this property, my wife and I, we became aware of the B2H power line in around 2015, give or take. I'm happy to announce, Gail's being modest, but the last bit of it is historic properties. We have since allowed professional archaeologists on to walk the trail, mark the trail. It has been approved and recommended to the National Historic Preservation Society as a historic property, in which, how do you mitigate that? Just because a marker, or a tower rather, doesn't go right in the middle of the trail, guys, we're talking 300 feet or less of not only marked trail, some of the best marked trail that you will see between here and the inception of it, but an immigrant campground, burial sites. How do you mitigate that? You can't.
As you can see, I'm definitely of the stop B2H crowd, not the move B2H crowd. So we hear people complaining about this route or that route. Let it be clear, I mean, we really are stop B2H. And I want to touch on a few points, I think, from both of those routes, proposed routes. Grande has nothing to gain from this project and everything to lose. It will ruin our surrounding ecosystems, our hunting and recreational grounds, our historical sites, our property values, our view of the surrounding mountains, and our ability to effectively protect ourselves from devastating wildfires. All of this to help a private corporation's customers in another state receive hydropower originally intended for our state and Washington. We're sending this power over there. You know, Idaho Power, they announced that there's going to be a new solar plant come online, 120 megawatts just south of Twin Falls. I mean, this kind of speaks to what Mr. Simone was talking about with this paradigm shift. I think the proof, that's solid evidence of that concept, and it's announced and proudly touted by the same energy corporation that's touting the archaic solution to the same problem. So we have not seen the power demand in Idaho follow the trends that they hoped they would see. The population didn't grow like they said it would. People are moving to more energy efficient appliances and light bulbs and smart meters. So how can you tell me in 2026, when this thing is scheduled to come online, that we're going to need it? I would love Idaho Power. I mean, I just need to see more proof from them that they actually need this line 5 years from now, 7 years from now.
I was told that when last fall they showed up at my property for the first time, that I've talked to them on the property, and they said they were surprised and wanted to know why there was a house there. And I said, well, it's been in the plan since I bought the property 10 years ago. All they had to do was ask the county, and he told me that they weren't aware of it and that it was going to present a problem. And I said, well, what are the alternatives? And he said, well, we either move the house or remove the transmission lines. It's too close. That immediately made me fairly stressed. This home that I built is, you heard from Mr. Horst earlier tonight, and he talked about that location being a little piece of heaven. I looked for a long time before I purchased property, and when I found this property, I was extremely impressed by, I was close to town, but it was remote. I have game cameras on the property. We have a lot of elk, deer, bears. Probably another real significant issue there is when I first purchased the property, I was required to do a wildlife assessment through Oregon Fish and Wildlife. The first 3 times that Oregon Fish and Game came up to my property, they told me no. They said it was too sensitive of a wildlife corridor and they would not let me build anywhere on my property. I fought that. They came out the 4th time and said that they would agree to let me build as long as I only built on the very eastern portion of my property. The proposed tower that's going to go on my property and control station is right in the middle of what Fish and Wildlife told me I could not build in because it was too sensitive of an area.
After listening to all the comments tonight, we felt there were just a couple of things that we wanted to get corrected on the record. First off, some previous testimony that was presented tonight, a statement was made that BPA is not a partner in the project any longer. That's not true. They are still a fully committed partner. In fact, I was in communication with my counterparts at BPA earlier this week before I left town. So I just want to get that on the record. The one other item here, a few speakers ago made the statement that Idaho Power does not have any customers in Oregon, and that's not true as well. We serve approximately 15% of our total system load is for Oregon customers that are located in Malheur and Baker counties.
All public comments will be inserted into the official record. If you have an opinion about the B2H transmission line, there still is an opportunity for you to submit your testimony in writing to the email address below.
Wallowa County's Woodlands and Watersheds Festival is happening this Friday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Wallowa County Fairgrounds and Enterprise. The Wallowa County Chamber of Commerce says that the event celebrates Wallowa's valuable natural and cultural resources.
Scheduled activities include trout fishing pond visits, live music, local vendors, logging games, face painting, firefighter games, and live blacksmith demonstrations. For more information, call the number below.
It's that time of year again, and the Eastern Oregon Beer Festival, organized by Grande Main Street, is this Saturday at the Union County Fairgrounds. This is a major fundraiser for Main Street that raises funds for other events, including Crazy Days, Downtown Trick or Treat, and the Christmas Parade. Tickets are $25 each if you buy them online ahead of time, or $30 at the gate.
Hi, this is Ashley.
And I'm Taylor from Grande Main Street.
And we're here to tell you about the Eastern Oregon Beer Festival happening on June 29th at the Fairgrounds.
You can get your tickets now at eobeerfest.org.
There's going to be over 20 different local beers, 3 great bands, a lot of good food, drag racing, mud wrestling, hot air balloon rides, dragons fighting.
Ashley, what? Most of that's not happening.
But the dragon fighting.
It's going to be beer, music, food, and fun.
Beer, music, food, and fun.
Yep.
Okay, at eobeerfest.org, right?
eobeerfest.org at the Union County Fairgrounds
on June 29th.
And here's Jamie and Bree with another one of our favorite friends looking for a forever home.
Hi, Eastern Oregon Alive. Bree Troutman here with Jamie, and she has brought another furry friend who's looking for a home. Jamie, who do we have?
So this is Copper. Copper is a 3-year-old hound beagle mix. He actually started with us at the shelter this last summer. He was with us and he got adopted out, and he was just recently brought back as an owner surrender. Right now at the shelter he's playing with about 4 or 5 other dogs. He kind of just wants to run around, have a good time. He has a little bit of independence, but clearly once he is with his human that he recognized, he wants to kind of just love on you and spend all the time. And let's just see what happens if I kind of try to inch away. Oh, he's like, excuse me, no, I'm with you right now. So he is looking for someone who he can give kisses to, and also who wants to run around with him and maybe throw a ball. So yeah, this is a Copper, just like a Copper from Fox and the Hound. And if you want to come down and meet him, he's already house trained. And actually, what's really cool is currently he's fixed. But his previous owner is going to he's not fixed. His previous owner is going to pay to have him fixed. And so he will be all ready to go pretty soon. So come on down to Blue Mountain Humane Association to meet Copper and play with this little guy. Hi, everyone.
Here's this week's Chamber Chatter about the happenings in Union County.
This is Sandra, live at Union County Chamber of Commerce. We bring you Eastern Oregon Live, and thank you, Med Transport, for your support. Susanna and Taylor are on location, ready to bring you some updates in regards to the local things going on. Susanna, are you there? We're live, Susanna. Can you hear me? Susanna, are you there? We're live.
I don't know. They must have cut our segment, so whatever. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, Susanna.
How's Main Street going?
Good.
Awesome. Things are good down at the chamber. We've got a big weekend ahead of us.
We do. Beer Fest is a few days away. It's coming up real fast.
This Saturday, the 29th, right?
Yep, from 11 to 7.
I'm getting ready at Union County Fairgrounds.
At Union County Fairgrounds,
And you've got a lot going on this year.
We do.
It's a big event.
Yes, we got a lot of different beers. I think you probably know some of them.
I'm so excited. You have all over Eastern Oregon and beyond. I mean, the beer list is virtually international, right? So we have Side A, Prodigal Son, Ordinance 1188, and come on.
5 years running, 5 years running Taster's Choice Dragon's Gate is going to be there.
Dragon's Gate from Milton Free Water is going to be there, in addition to so many other. There are going to be so many beers there, some that none of us have even tried yet because they are unveiling right now. So I can't wait. I mean, obviously we're prepping already. Luckily our news segment got canceled, so we could be down here. But okay, food. I get hungry when I'm having beer.
Food is going to be great. Heinz is going to be there. Heinz Meat Company. I think they have those gigantic corn dogs. And Local Harvest is going to have a portable pizza oven, and they're going to be making pizzas there. And Becky's Burger Wagon is going to be there. We're going to have kettle corn and more there, and La Bebe cakes with all these savory baked goods. It's going to be a great time for food and for beer.
Okay, so that's fantastic. So the food, pizza, dogs,
burgers,
barbecue,
all sorts of
burgers,
meat.
everything in addition to all of the beers. It's going to be fantastic. So 11 a.m. gates open, 7 p.m. gates closed. During that time though, it's not just about beer and food, as if the world needs anything else.
No.
It doesn't stop because
there's also
we have
going to be live music from 3 different bands that are going to be playing all day. Great stuff from nearby and from a little further out. And then after the event, the party's going to keep going at HQ for an after party in downtown. Lost Dogs is going to be playing at their after party, and they're going to have more beer, and it's going to be even more fun well into the night.
Okay, so let me get this right. This is the first time this has ever been done in all of the years' history of the Eastern Oregon Beer Festival, that the after party is not happening at the fairgrounds. The after party is happening downtown La Grande, HQ, at Depot, on Depot Street.
On Depot Street, I think it's 112 Depot.
And don't even worry, you have no excuse not to get there because the Main Street has arranged
the trolley's going to be running all day, and they're going to have some rides taking people to downtown from the fairgrounds, and Loveland Safe Rides is going to be operating. So there's no excuse not to go out and have a great time.
Okay, so I think the most important thing was just a couple days before this massive event, and you have to remember that when you get your event into the 6th year, that means something. It takes work, it takes dedication and commitment. But a couple days away, passes are still available, but they're getting limited. I mean, unfortunately, every year this event is huge, and so they get limited. So eobeerfest.org is where you can get your passes online. Don't want to go online, want an interaction with a real person? I'm selling them in my office at the Union County Chamber, 207 Depot. Taylor, where else can we get them?
I'm selling them in my office at La Grande Main Street, 102 Depot, and they can also be found at Benchwarmers Bar and Grill, Tap That Growlers, Side A Brewing, the Bobo Link, and of course online at eobeerfest.org.
Okay, hang on. I'm getting a transmission, so don't forget this Saturday, just a couple of days away, is, maybe they're not ready yet in the studio, is Saturday, June 29th, Eastern Oregon Beer Festival. Make sure you get your tickets ASAP. And then coming to you live for another news update, I think that we have a second broadcast on what's happening on Sunday, June 30th.
Thanks, Susanna. I'm here now with Susanna to talk about what's going on Sunday.
Hey, coming up this Sunday, June 30th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we have the first annual, very positive, first annual start of the Union County Farm Crawl. So what is that? Crawling from farm to farm? That's an awfully long ways to talk. No, it's actually a self-guided driving tour. We have over 15 farms signed up, and so you can go on site to each of these producers and see what they have going on. So you can taste their produce, you can see live demonstrations, you can play with the baby animals, and really get a feel for all the samples of the everything at Union County. So this Sunday, don't forget, take your way, make a nice day of it. You might be recovering from the Eastern Oregon Beer Festival the day before on Saturday, June 29th, but then it's just this nice little taste of the county.
What time is that happening again?
It is Sunday, June 30th, starts at 10 a.m. or whenever you feel like it, but the farms will all be open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the Sunday. So it's self-guided. You don't have to, there's no set start place, there's no set end place. You can go to as many or as few of the farms as you're wanting to and just have a great time.
Sounds great. So that's the Eastern Oregon Beer Fest this Saturday and the Union County Farm Crawl this Sunday. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Taylor and Susanna, for bringing that to us, and thank you again, Med Transport, for all of your support. We'll see you next time, Eastern Oregon Alive, for the next week's latest updates.
Thank you for watching this week's News Roundup on Eastern Oregon Alive. I'm Alex McCadden.
And I'm Bree Troutman, and we'll see you next week on the News Roundup.